Hey everybody, David Rice back here at IgniteDDS. We have a very special guest today, Hillary Becchetti. She is going to be dropping some serious legal knowledge. So Hillary, welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. We got some sunshine going on in New York State today, so I am very grateful for that.
Nice.
Yeah. So listen, jumping right in, can you give our Ignite tribe a little bit of just a 101 background on you and law and how that relates to our young dentists?
So I actually am a child of dentists. Both of my parents were dentists, and I was a rebellious teenager and decided to go into law instead. But now I've come back and I opened a law firm in Minnesota, and we focus almost solely on dental transitions, transactions, contracts, conflict management in dental practices. And I have spent the last couple of years helping young dentists buy practices, helping mature dentists to sell practices as well. But the majority of my clients are the younger dentists, and we love helping young dentists get started and owning their own business.
That's awesome. So, one of the hottest topics we have Ignite really is pathways to practice. And there obviously, as a young dentist, you're a new graduate 1 to 5 to 10 years out. There's different pathways you can take, but I love the topic of practice ownership and purchasing practices. I find it to be the strongest route to go in most instances. So we're going to focus on that today and really start off with a video series, this being the first. And this one's all about preparing to acquire a dental practice. So let's get right into it. And I guess I'll just ask a simple question of, what's the first thing a young dentist needs to be doing when they're preparing to acquire a practice?
Well, something I always tell my young dentists is the first thing you need to do is assemble your team of professionals, because you're going to need a lot of people, a couple people, I suppose, to help you in acquiring a practice, because it's a pretty complicated process. There's, the legal implications, there's the tax implications, there's personal implications. So you want to make sure that you have a team of professionals that focuses or specializes in dental practice transitions to help you with that process. So the list, or the creme de la creme of the people that you need to have are, first, your attorney, which of course, I think is pretty awesome because I am an attorney. They're going to really help you get through the legal process, because you're going to have a lot of legal documents you're going to have to go through. You're going to have a lot of just general legal questions, because this is a legal purchase. You're purchasing another practice. It's a legal process. So you want someone to help you through that. You're going to need your accountant, which is probably going to be the person that you are going to have for your entire career. Every dental practice has an accountant, and that accountant is going to help you go over the financials of the practice you want to buy. They're going to tell you if the purchase price is okay. They're going to tell you if it's a healthy practice, whether or not you should actually buy it. They're going to give you a lot of good information. The next person is your banker, unless you can pay in cash, which I'm assuming most dental students can't. You're going to need a good banker. And shop around, look at the big banks, look at the small banks, just make sure whatever bank you choose has some sort of practice solutions program that they subscribe to, essentially, and get good rates, and not just the rates either. You end up having sort of a personal relationship with your banker as well. So that's something to also keep in mind. Your next person is probably your real estate or lease broker, because your practice has to have a space to practice in. So you're either going to have a lease or you're going to buy the building. Either way, you're going to want to have someone that can help you with that. And the nice thing about a broker is that they usually have either the landlord or the seller pay for their fee. So it's a lot cheaper to have that broker. The next person is your insurance agent. Some dentists already have an insurance agent because they have to have malpractice insurance. But if you don't, that's another person to talk to, because once you buy a practice, you're going to have a lot more different insurance policies you're going to have to buy. So that's someone you'll have to keep in mind. And then finally, your practice management consultant. A lot of people don't think to hire someone before they buy a practice management consultant, before they buy their practice, but it's a good idea to at least have someone in mind. Maybe they can also look over the financials. And then they can also kind of, before you close, look over your practice and kind of get you, started on the right foot. So, and that's another person you're probably going to have for a very long time as one of your professionals. So, yeah.
Love that list. So young dentists understand that for years, this transaction has been heavily weighted to advantage the seller.
Yeah.
And I think finally now we are teaching young dentists to build this team, not just to protect yourself, but to negotiate a deal for you. This transaction has to be a win-win. Everybody has to walk away feeling tremendous. And, we've got some great resources at Ignite to help you build a team. However, Hillary, where do you, besides Ignite, where do people find this team? How do you find the right people?
Well, obviously a Google search is probably your first, cheapest, easiest option. But really go to your local district and state dental meetings and visit those exhibit halls, because the vendors at those exhibit halls are going to be filled with all these professionals. And it's a great place to meet them in person, to talk to them about what they do. So that's a great place to meet them. And these people are at these meetings because they want your business. So they probably are experienced in dental transactions. And then one of the best resources is the people around you. So referrals, either your dental friends, a mentor. If you've already hired one of the professionals, they probably know all the other professionals that do this, because it's a pretty small community. So they'll give you a really great list of people to contact as well.
Love it. So let's assume I'm a young dentist, I'm buying a practice, I've listened, I've built my team. I know. I've
got to listen, yeah.
Ladies, you're going to do great. Guys, you're probably going to be like me and bang your head against the wall.
Right.
You'll learn.
Right.
So let's assume that we did it, and we've got a really strong team in place. What's like the final step in this early process we discussed this? Like, what do we do next?
So the next step is to actually find a practice. And one of the places you can do that, there's a couple places, usually every state will have their local transition companies that will have practices for sale on their website. There's also national companies. There's national match companies. I think there's one called like DDS Match or something like that. And also your local state dental associations will sometimes have a list of practices for sale as well. But if anything else, ask your professionals, because sometimes especially if you have a practice management consultant, they'll probably know some of their clients that are thinking about selling. Just kind of ask around and look around. So find a practice and then get financing. That's probably get pre-approval. You probably want to get that under your belt too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. The last thing you want to do is find the practice. It's like finding a house. You don't want to find the practice of your dreams, and then the whole thing gets put on hold, the seller gets frustrated, or it just doesn't work out. So those are really great tips. So we have got to get ourselves ready. We've got to build a team. You mentioned all the right people on there. Mm-hmm. How to find them, and then we've got to find our practice, get some pre-financing dollars in order so we know we're okay, and ask the right people, and understand that you, for the first time in our profession, have a whole team of people who are here to help you at the end. So Hillary, that's amazing information. Any last piece of advice for this one?
I just find your team, get pre-approval, find a practice, and know that it's probably going to take some time. I think that's probably my biggest tip. I think people think, I'm ready to buy a practice, it's going to be right now. No, it's going to take probably a month or two before you actually come upon a practice that you like. You're going to be visiting those practices. You're going to be going over the financials. Sometimes you'll love a practice and then you look at the financials and it's awful. So kind of keep an open mind, know that it's going to take time, and maybe account for that time too. If you're looking for a practice. So I would say that would be my biggest advice when you're prepping.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I love that last piece of advice. I would encourage young dentists to fall in love with your vision. Don't love practice.
Absolutely.
It's perfect. Hillary, thank you so much for this information. It's so critical. I know you're really busy, but we really appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.